Good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. John Kelly, profiler here, and welcome. Sorry it's been a while. And we want to welcome you to today's show. It's about Brian Laundrie, and it's called Fear Factor. First of all, I want to say that everybody's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Second of all, I want to put out there our condolences to Gabby Petito, her family, and her friends. Very sad and sorry for what happened to Gabby. She's a beautiful girl. And it's literally heart-crushing to see a beautiful girl like that end up dead. Very upsetting. Today, the power is going to be in the question. And we would love your feedback as always. Probably today more so than maybe before. We'll see. We'd like you to join the forum as we create an intelligent discussion. Because I really believe our viewers are very intelligent and really have an understanding, or somewhat of a very good understanding into true crime. So we'd like you to help us unlock the mystery. First question I have is, what about Brian's anger and rage in his art? And we're going to put something up in the description. We'll put a link up in the description. But what about Brian's anger or rage displayed in his art? Can we see any warning signs there of what was to come? Could we see a young man having all this internalized anger and rage building up through his art, which ended up in explosive volcanic rage? So is his art kind of a warning sign on what could be? Okay. Something about him is very, very interesting, and I'm sure you all are in tune with this, but in school, in high school, he was kind of a shy guy. Didn't really socialize really a lot, wasn't really a big extrovert, was more of an introvert. And, with someone like that, we can start to see and even define them as being asocial. Now, there's nothing wrong with asocial people. Asocial people, for whatever reason, like to keep to themselves. This can be like somebody that just doesn't want to be bothered with other people. They enjoy their own company, and there's nothing wrong with that. They don't hurt anybody. Some of them are hermits. Some of them, just go off to the mountains and, enjoy the mountains, or wherever they go. They like to be alone. No harm, no foul. There's no crime there. And Brian seems to be, at this point, kind of asocial. But then I'm wondering, did Brian make the leap to antisocial? Did he make the leap from asocial and being shy and introverted to being antisocial and being very angry, violent, and striking out at others or society in general? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. There's much more to be unraveled with this. And the ultimate antisocial act is murder, the taking of a human life. Now, it's come out, the authorities have brought out that the way Gabby was murdered was through strangulation. And I have to tell you that strangulation takes some effort and it takes some time. I mean, usually you're talking anywhere from 4 to 6 minutes, 8 minutes, to strangle someone with their hands. It's not easy to do. It's not an easy way for a person to die. Okay, it's very torturous. So this is something that's kind of concerning me, because it's not an impulsive act where somebody acted in a split second and then was forever sorry. I mean, this isn't a split second kind of kill. This kill takes some time, because 5 or 6 or 8 minutes can be a lot of time if you're choking someone, strangling someone. The question I have is, do we think Gabby was afraid of Brian? Okay, that's another question I have. Remember, this is Brian Laundrie, Fear Factor, the name of this show. Was Gabby afraid of Brian? It looked to me, when I saw the different videos of her being pulled over by the police and her talking to the police, in my eyes, what I saw was domestic abuse. I saw a young girl, to me, that reminded of many young girls and many people I saw over the years that were abused. And that look of fear, that look of anxiety, that look of sadness, that look of, depression or despair. I'll leave it up to you guys. I want to see what you think. So was Gabby afraid of Brian, and how long was she afraid of Brian? She was with him for quite a while. And we know domestic abuse can go on for a long period of time. The other thing that I'm concerned about is, how much of a short fuse did Brian have? How long would it take him in the anger and rage department to go from 0 to 60? Okay. I mean, because this guy played himself pretty cool when he was pulled over by the police, and when he and Gabby were pulled over by the police. And, he played it pretty cool, So what kind of chameleon do you think he is? Okay. According to that video, I mean, he looked like he wasn't going to hurt or kill anybody, right? But looking at Gabby, we know she was really afraid, and afraid of someone, and she was in a panic. Do you think Brian's parents were afraid of him? Do you think Brian's parents were afraid of him? That's a question that's not getting very much, if any, play at all out there. And I'd like to know what you think about that, because I've worked with a lot of families who were afraid of their kids for one reason or another, because the kid was so violent and had a lot of built-up rage. So were Brian's parents afraid of him? I'm not saying they were or they weren't. I'm asking you what you think. The other thing that I'm really focused on is Brian's self-worth. I mean, I'm looking at a guy that's playing the role as a real macho guy. And, really, when you see a guy that's playing the role as a real hard-ass macho kind of guy, most of the time that's a guy who may think he's superior, play a role he's superior, but really is feeling inferior. And I'm wondering, and my question is, was Brian's worth completely wrapped up in Gabby? Was his self-worth all about Gabby? Okay? Now, this is very, very important, because if it was, and we've seen this many times over, we've seen many domestic abuse partners turn around and kill their spouse, kill their significant other, if that significant other was going to leave. Okay? It's a crazy, crazy kind of oxymoron that goes on there, and we're gonna get into that over the next episodes, because there's an awful lot to go over here, an awful lot to unpack, and the more that comes out, the more we're going to be analyzing. Okay, but Brian's self-worth completely wrapped up in Gabby, because if she's gone or she's leaving him, then he's feeling pretty hopeless and pretty worthless. And if you look at people who are depressed and who kill themselves, and I'm not saying he did yet, we have to wait and see what the evidence brings in, but many people who feel worthless and hopeless go into that deep depression and do kill themselves. Okay. So if his worth was completely tied up with Gabby, with her leaving him, if she was going to leave him, that could really cause him to really explode, I believe. I mean, did he think it was worth living without Gabby? I mean, if your whole future or passion depends on another person, an extreme case of codependency, I mean, would you believe that, life is not worth living if that person's gone, if that person's not around? I mean, it's just very, very interesting to look at this dynamic. I mean, something else I would look at, and, when you look at these types of guys, okay, that are really insecure, macho-looking guys, but really feeling kind of inadequate, inferior, and in order to compensate for that, they become very controlling. Now, a lot of you out there that are watching this have had relationships with people like this, who have to be extremely controlling. And really, at the bottom of it, the reason they have to control is because they feel so insecure. And, that just reeks again of extreme codependency. So they don't want you to ever leave them, okay? Call it abandonment issues, whatever you want to call it. But they are focused in on having control over you so you cannot leave. You see, these kind of guys that we're talking about, these really controlling, narcissistic egomaniacs, I mean, they really don't have relationships with women, okay? When you think about it, they don't have relationships. They take hostages. They take hostages. They want to control more and more and more because they're so insecure. But they don't want to show that part of themselves. They don't want to become that vulnerable. So anyway, that's what I have to say. A lot of questions. The power's in the questions. I'd like to know what you think. We're really going to be moving forward with this. We're really going to be unpacking it. As I said, it is a very, very sad situation. It's, forensically rich. It's clinically rich, this whole case. And we want to get to the bottom of it. In fact, we also have other murders where this couple has been, where Brian has been. It seems we have some other bodies out there, right? So there's going to be more to come. And like I said, we'll unpack the dynamics and, more to be revealed. I want to tell you many thanks. Many thanks for all of you that hung around and been looking for us. It's been a while. We had to reorganize, but we're back. And I want you to know that for us, the most important thing, as always, is for you to have a great day out there. Because we never know about tomorrow, right? And most importantly, take care of yourself and stay safe. God bless. Thank you.